10,000 K.
Uh-huh. 10,000 K. Okay, so we're going to solve quadratics using factoring. We talked about the zero product property. It says that if you multiply anything by zero, you guys show me with your hands what anything multiplied by zero is. Please put zero. You can either tell me this way or this way. So it's zero. If you multiply, no matter what B is, if A is equal to 0, no matter what B is, the whole thing is going to be equal to 0. So when I go to solve problems using this method, if I have if x plus 1 is equal to 0, then it'll make the whole equation equal to 0. The same is true if x minus 3 equals 0. It's going to force the entire equation to be equal to 0. So that means x equals -1 is a solution, and x equals 3 is a solution. So when you get to the place where you factor it out, it then branches into two different problems. The answer to the first problem is a solution, and the answer to the second problem is also a solution. Give me a thumbs up if you're ready for the next page. Okay. All right, we did this yesterday, so I'm going to just do a quick through on it. So we're going to set this first piece equal to 0, and then we're going to set the second one equal to 0, and we're going to solve both of them. You guys should already have this on your paper, because we did this last. So we get 4x is equal to -1. We're going to divide by 4 because we are not afraid of fractions. Go ahead and say it. We are not afraid of fractions. Go ahead and say it. We are not afraid of fractions. One of my answers is x equals -1/4. Add 2 to both sides for the other one. And my second answer is x equals 2. So both of these are solutions to this problem. You need to list both in order to get full credit for your answers, because both of them are solutions. For my second one, we're going to let 2x plus 3 equal 0, and x minus 4 equals 0. So when you factor, it creates two solutions. We subtract 3 from both sides, and we get 0 minus 3 is -3. Then we're going to divide by 2, and we are not afraid of fractions. Let's say that again. We are not afraid of fractions. So x is equal to -3/2. Add 4 to both sides. So the answer to this problem is x equals -3/2 and x equals 4. Okay, for the now you tries, I do believe we did this first one, but it doesn't hurt to review. We get two different problems. We get x plus 1 equals 0, because whenever we multiply by 0, it doesn't matter what the other one is. It's going to be 0. So in this case, we minus 1 for both sides, and we get one of our answers is x equals -1. We're going to add 5 to both sides. The other answer is x equals 5. I'm hoping by this time you guys can see when there's no numbers out front, the answer is just the opposite of what's inside these parentheses. So the opposite of 1 is -1, that's an answer. The opposite of -5 is +5, that's the answer. When you guys get really good, you can look at the problem and know that the answer is going to be +2/7 and +4/5. When you guys get some experience under your belt?
I did it.
Okay, so for the Now You Tries, we split it into its two different problems. Going to add 2 to both sides for this guy. And divide by 7. X equals 2/7 is one of our answers, and we are not afraid of fractions. We are not afraid of fractions. We're going to add 4 here and divide by 5. The second answer is X equals 4/5. So both of those are answers. It didn't hurt us at all to have the answers be a fraction. They're not scary. It's just like spiders, guys. You are way more giant than a spider. All you have to do is squish it, and it's dead.
Or burn it. I like burning it.
So you guys are way bigger than spiders. Fractions aren't scary.
You never burn a spider before?
Okay. You guys, when you're ready, go ahead and put one hand on top of your head. You're ready for the next part. When you're ready for the next part, put one hand on top of your head. When you're ready for the next part. Okay. Richard, are you ready? Okay. So here's the next part, guys. We're adding this is why we put our hand on our head. We're adding another layer to this problem. So what we were doing before, the problem was already factored. So the new layer to this is that we are going to factor and then solve it. So I'm going to use X method to factor x squared plus 8x plus 15. So there's a 1 here. The first and the last times each other goes on top. So 1 times 15 is 15. And the middle guy goes underneath. Layla's a boss at this. So what 2 numbers multiply to give you 8? And add, or multiply to give you 15, add to give you 8. Positive 5 and positive 3. It's the boss of this, totally. So we write that as x plus 5 and x plus 3. Now we have a problem just like the ones we were doing. We split it into its 2 pieces. X plus 3 equals 0. Now, if you were just looking at it, what's the opposite of 5? Negative 5. What's the opposite of 3? Negative 3. So the answers to these are x equals negative 5 and x equals negative 3. You get it?
Yes.
Okay. So we're going to take a commercial break for these guys at home. So when it's not already in standard form, we need to move everything over to one side. So if I have anything other than 0 on one of the sides, I need to bring it over. And Donna, nope, that's it. Okay, Donna, if I have 18 and I want it to be 0, what is the opposite of positive 18? Negative 18. So I'm going to minus 18 from both sides. There is no other whole number living on that other side to combine with the minus 18. So he just gets minused onto the end of what we already have. Right? So we're going to X method this guy. So 4 times negative 18, goodness gracious. 4 is 32, 3, 72. Thank you. And negative 21. Oh my goodness gracious. Which two numbers multiply to give us negative 72 and add to give us negative 21? 12 and 8. No, that would be 13 and 8, yeah. What about 20? Does 24 go to 72?
Oh, she wouldn't be adding this 12. Very big number.
So 24 times 3? Yes, 24. Guys, I found it. 24 and 3. 24 and 3.
I take credit. I take credit for that.
I, of course, give Layla all the credit.
Yeah.
She's the best at this. Okay,
Dang straight.
so now, Rob,
You gotta divide by 4.
we're going to have to divide by 4, right? Because our coefficient is 4. Negative 24 divided by 4. Negative 6, so we got nothing.
Shut up, Marissa.
In present. The 4 goes with the F. Awesome.
Apple doesn't even wear Supreme, so you can't say that.
Okay, so we've got 4x plus 3 and x minus 6 both equal to 0. All right, Jay, can you write our two equations that we're going to have to solve, and then Brandon, when she's done writing, go ahead and solve those. Okay. We're not afraid of that. How much are you stickers?
I should get a water bottle.
So we get two equations, x minus 6 equals 0, and 4x plus 3 equals 0. And Brandon's going to come solve them for us. And we are not afraid of fractions. Not afraid. We are brave super math heroes. Brave super math heroes. Awesome. Perfect. So the first answer is x equals 6.
Not figuratively, but literally.
Awesome. Perfect.
What's on your socks? Oh, these are wolves.
Wolves. I don't know.
That's for you.
That's it.
Okay. So you guys take a moment. Try these on your own. I'm going to ask Evan to be in charge of the first one and Connor to be in charge of the second one. Just, yeah, all of the first one. I'll come over and we'll do it together. Okay, so we're making a frame for a rectangular photo. We want the frame to be the same width all the way around. That's this little F sky right here. And the total area of the frame and the photo to be 315 square inches. What should the outer dimensions of the frame be? So we want the total area of the frame and the photo. Okay, so we need to find the area of this whole thing. So we look and we go, well, area of a rectangle is length times the width.
on this.
So the length is going to be 17 plus an x here plus an x here. So that's 2x plus 17 is going to be our length. There's, you see, we want this total length here.
Because X.
Yeah, 17 is in the middle, x is on the left, and x is on the right. The same happens with our width. We have 11. We have 11 in the middle. We have a x from here to here. And then we have an x from here to here. So that's 2x plus 11. So our total length is 2x plus 17, and our total width is 2x plus 11. We're going to multiply those two together, because that's the area.
No, this.
Length times width is the area. Is everybody with me so far?
Yes.
Okay, so we needed a value for the width and a value for the length. When we multiply them together, we get the area. So we're going to multiply the length and the width using the FOIL method. So we're going to go 2x times 2x is 4x squared. And 2x plus 17 is 34x. 11 times 2x, 22x. And this is the one I have to look up. 11 times 17 is 187. Okay. We want the area of our frame to equal 315. So instead of equaling the word area, I'm going to say that it's equal to 315. And hopefully that makes sense why I'm writing 315 there. Okay, we're going to combine like terms. So that means our 34x and our 22x are going to be buddies together. 34 and 22 is 56. Okay, now we're here, like our example problems. We want it to equal 0. So we're going to take that 315 and subtract it from both sides so we can get equal 0. So we definitely get it equal to 0. 4x squared plus 56x. And then this one is a negative. Thank you, Algebra Foundations, for being here. We have a negative and a positive. So I'm going to subtract the two numbers. Ladies and gentlemen, do not subtract them in this order. I've had some folks that were subtracting the numbers. You always want the larger absolute value on top. So it's going to be 315 minus 187. The 315 is the negative one, so our answer is going to be negative. But to get that value, we're going to put the big number on top. So I need to borrow 15 minus 7 is 8. I need to borrow 10 minus 8 is 2. And 2 minus 1 is 120. So 187 minus 315, by the way, totally fine to use your calculator. I'm just doing it mental math style. True or false? 4 is a common factor for 4, 56, and 128. Does 4 go into all those numbers? Yeah, so let's go ahead and factor it out. So 4x squared divided by 4 gives us just an x squared. 56 divided by 4 is 14. 128 divided by 4 is 32. I don't want to offend you, but I am going to divide both sides of this equation by 4. I'm sorry if that's offensive, but I have nothing against 4s. I just cannot stand them. Look what happens when I divide. So if you can factor out a whole number and get to this place, it's awesome because you just divide by that number and it goes away. This is the only time in math things just kind of disappear. So I factor out this 4. 4 divided by 4 is just 1. X squared plus 14x minus 32. What's 0 divided by 4? 0. Oh my gosh, thank goodness. I thought I was going to have to factor this terrible quadratic. Now we have something that's reasonable. Okay, so we're going to X method this out. So two numbers that multiply to give us negative 32 and add to give us 14. How about 16 and 2? Which one has to be negative, the 16 or the 2? 2. 14 is positive. So I want my bigger number to be positive.
That makes sense.
So we factor this out. X plus 16, x minus 2. Set up our two equations. And then solve each of these equations. The great part of this is one of them doesn't make any sense to the problem. So the problem is asking us, find the outer dimension of the frame. Can my outer dimension be negative 16? No, so this one doesn't make sense to the problem. So let me find my units. We are inches. So our outer dimension is 2 inches. Okay, take a moment and write an amazing summary.